I pushed the button.
Did you push the button? I pressed the button too. Because right where the button is, after one person presses it, it instantly turns to end stream. So this might be a very short stream, folks.
Did you really push the button? I told you I was pushing the button.
Pressed it. Dude, I said I was pressing the button.
I said I'm pressing the button.
Anyway, so one of us pressed the button and we are live. What's up, Mr. Rob? How you doing?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, for a change, I was here last minute.
I thought you were gonna flake out.
I was sweating it out with Rob last time. I was like, "Is this guy coming? Where's this guy?" Like, I just woke up.
Honestly, I wish I woke up now, buddy.
What's up, Mr.
I went to I went to Halloween Haunt last night at Wonderland.
Oh, that sounds mad exciting.
Well, so we went for my niece's birthday. So my two kids, myself, my brother-in-law and his daughter, and then my sister-in-law were there. I mean, the weather was decent, but it's expensive for like three. So just me and my two kids. I mean, you have to get like that fast lane thing to be able to do all the Halloween attractions within a limited time that you're there for. It's stupid, man. It's so stupid. I didn't realize my wife bought the tickets for us. I had no idea how much she paid. And she told me, and I almost lost it. I mean, it's good to see my daughter and my niece, who are like 1 year apart, they were screaming and losing their minds. But honestly, it's
you were unimpressed with the light show?
Yeah, well, no, listen, it's I'm not going to disparage Wonderland because maybe they'll come on as a corporate sponsor for next year. So
Leviathan.
I will say
that segment brought to you by the Leviathan.
That's right. The money I spent for it, no. And then on top of all of that, we don't get home till like close to 1. I crashed at about 1:30, and then I was up at 5:45 because we had hockey this morning. I had to take my son to the rink. So if I'm a little punchy today and tonight, it's because I'm tired as all hell, man.
Not because it's just your usual disposition.
Right. It's not because I maybe have had a few drinks before the show. Yes. How about
What's
you,
up,
buddy?
folks?
How are you?
Yeah. Sarah said she's missing Love is Blind. Is that the one where everyone on the show was blind and they tried to find love?
Nope, that's Daredevil.
That's Daredevil, the TV show, the dating game? Daredevil, the game?
Yeah. No, Love is Blind. My wife it's 8:00. The new episode drops on Netflix, and so she was all geared up to watch it. So
okay. Is it like The Voice, but like dating?
Well, I think my understanding is that the individuals, the two individuals, don't get to see each other. They're supposed to form this relationship without seeing each other, and then they connect and they want to agree to get married, and then they see what each other looks like, and then they have a certain amount of time to determine whether or not they still want to go through with the marriage or not. So the notion is you've made a connection on a human level, John, through your heart without having to see the goods. And then you see the goods and you determine whether they are best before or they're way past expired.
But do you, like, when you sign up for the show, you know the concept of the show, right? So what person is going to be on live television, get to the stage where you get engaged? And Sarah or Rob, you can fill me in if someone actually hits the eject button. But how bad do you now look on TV when you're like, oh yeah, we fell in love, we're engaged, and then you see the person and you're like, oh, eject. You know what I mean?
But John, don't you remember that there was that TV show? It was called like Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire? And it was live, 2 hours, and the millionaire guy had to choose. And then this woman, I think her name was Dara. She was like chosen, and then they got engaged, they got her address, and she got married on live TV, all over like a 2-hour window. And she was like, I just went on here for the fun and exposure. I didn't expect to get married, and sure enough, they got married. And it's shocking, John. It didn't last.
No way, get out. Was everyone heartbroken after they had a follow-up episode? Everyone's in tears and like it didn't work out. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah.
I feel like they probably fill this show with beautiful people anyways. Because that's how TV works, right? I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't know. I'm pretty sure TV is filled with beautiful people, is it not?
Well, that's why we're on YouTube.
yeah. That's why we can't get the TV deal, Rob. Come on, step it up. You gotta get the makeup done. You gotta maintain the frosted tips. It's gotta roll, dude. Come on. Anyways, we should do the intro. Welcome to the Sidekick Show. It is Sunday, October 15th. We're midway through Halloween month. And to what is it? To my right? Are you on my right? My left?
Well, you're on my right.
To the left side of the screen is the beautiful, lovely, talented Rob Gaudette. And on the right is Rob's sidekick, me, John Ho.
That's how that works. We're two sidekicks to two other heroes who have just left us.
Where's Batman? Where's that guy?
Yeah,
we're waiting around for Batman. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, giving us your Sunday night. We're hopefully here to entertain and have some fun.
Wait, what sidekick would you be then, John?
I'm a fan of. Would you pick a particular Robin, or do you think there's like another sidekick that you?
Well, listen, there's lots that you could be Aqualad.
No. Tonto? Is that appropriation if one of us wants to be Tonto? Like, that's a whole Johnny Depp controversy, right?
Yeah, I'm not going down that road.
Kato? I could be Kato, but is that just a racist stereotype? I don't know. That's the closest pairing, is it not? Green Hornet was a white guy, if I'm correct.
Yeah, but right? What I'm saying is, you and I are both sidekicks. So what I'm asking is, if you had to be a sidekick, what sidekick would you be?
If we go purely by stereotypical casting, then I'm Bruce Lee, and you're Burt Ward.
Holy shenanigans, Batman! Wow. Okay, no, but for real. So let's not worry about stereotyping based on race, John. Who what you're a sidekick? What's your sidekick? Are you a hit girl? What are you?
Oh, Jesus, hit girl. No, I think the definitive sidekick is Robin. It's 100% always going to be Robin. So I would pick one of the Robins if I had to choose. I'm a big fan of actually Jason Todd Robin, because
I knew you were going to say that.
He was such a reckless character when not at the time he was Robin. Actually, you know what? I think they did incorporate that in the story a little bit, but once they established him as this reckless Robin, whenever they go back and tell tales of him being Robin, he's always doing like crazy stuff. Like I don't know if he's like grabbing guns or what. He's always doing like very dangerous, reckless stuff where they're like, oh yeah, Jason Todd was the craziest Robin. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of his. Who do you pick? Do you pick Dick Grayson, the definitive Robin? The get slapped by Batman meme Robin?
No, I would pick Wally West, because Wally West was the original Kid Flash. So as a sidekick, and we all know Wally West is a superior Flash. Oh, and John's gone, and he's back. We all know Wally West is a superior Flash. He took over the mantle. But
people do quite well like Wally West. He's one of the the substitutions that happened, folks. If you guys don't know, DC went through this whole phase where they changed almost everybody, I think, right?
Wait, but Wally West took over after Crisis in Infinite Earths because Burt Ward, Barry Allen sacrificed himself to the Speed Force.
Yeah, but he's one of the ones that people have that actually kind of feel like he was accepted as the new.
Yeah, well,
Flash,
he was. You know what I mean? He was amazing.
No one was ever like, oh, I want Hal Jordan back.
And then Jeff Johns decides, oh, I'm going to bring him back in Flash Rebirth, and now you're like, great. Now we got stupid Barry Allen back again.
Lewis said, who the hell wants to be Aqualad? Yeah, nobody wants to be Aqualad.
I don't know. You don't think so?
I don't know. Who?
Maybe you'd be Crypto.
Crypto, is that considered a sidekick? I don't know.
Is he? I don't know.
All right, enough of the sidekick show. Enough of the sidekick talk.
I just think we've named our show the Sidekick Show. I thought we should have probably thought this out a lot better.
No, we probably should have.
Like 3 years, we've never had the discussion.
We never had the discussion.
Would you be?
I almost looked at sidekick like almost like wingman, kind of like we're your wingman sidekicks of the day.
So you're my goose.
Yeah.
Just walk out.
Talk to me, Goose. We're gonna play volleyball in our jeans.
Sure.
On the beach.
In sand.
The made up beach.
In water, where jeans do real well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, all right. All right, so Rob, what how do you want to start today? We don't have a guest this week.
Nope.
We don't have anything to catch. Well, we kind of did our catch up show 2 weeks ago, so now we're in like a weird. We're just gonna talk about whatever, guys.
Yeah, talking about stuff that's on that came out kind of in the news in this past week, and then stuff with the show. With the store. Do you have anything? This show is not off the rails, Lewis. It would had to have been on the rails initially for it to.
Yeah. If we don't start on the rails, it's an open road, baby.
No. Yeah, we're living a quarter mile at a time.
If there are no expectations, there's nothing to be met by us. So we're not.
There we go.
We're not meeting expectations.
Us to do well at all.
Was that SNL skit lowered expectations? Was that an SNL skit or was that in a Living Color skit?
Might have been Living Color.
Yeah, I don't know. Lowered expectations. It's a funny like dating show spoof for you youngins. But yeah, Rob, since you opened the door, we're going to talk a little bit about the store. I'm just going to talk about the gaming we got going on. So if you guys are looking for a place to game, we've got a whole bunch of leagues and events going on. I'll show a couple pictures of recent stuff. We've got a whole bunch of Magic coming on.
Look at those hands.
Yeah. I didn't want to put people's faces online. So we got a whole bunch of hands and a whole bunch of cards. It looks a bit chaotic, but there's some fun stuff going on here. The Doctor Who Commander set just came out. A lot of people picked that up. Who's your favorite Doctor, Rob, since you were Doctor Who-benite?
Oh, well, I'm going to go old school and say Tom Baker.
Tom Baker. He is so the new decks they have feature the different characters, and he is one of the least popular ones right now. Everyone seems to be picking up the David Tennant one. He's the younger one, right? Yeah. He's not the who's the guy that was in Terminator Genesis or whatever?
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith. Which Doctor is that?
He would have been 11.
Yeah, the 11th Doctor. But yeah, it seems like everybody wants the one specific Doctor, and then we'll see how it goes from there. If you're looking to play some BattleTech, we got some BattleTech going on. That's like kind of like these giant armored mechs, and it runs off this hexagon system here, Rob. It's really cool. Normally, these games you have to measure, but when they do this hex system, apparently to get from one spot to another spot, there's an exact number of spaces you can move. So it doesn't matter if you move diagonally, crisscross, or whatever. There's only one maximum path you can do, and there's all this math that goes into it, but it's kind of a classic war game style. People are really loving that. And then of course we have our big game, which is Warhammer 40K. And that's done with measuring sticks and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you guys are looking for a place to play, or if you're looking to try out one of these games, let us know. We're running demonstrations for Magic, BattleTech, and Warhammer 40K, plus whatever other game we do have on sale. So check it out. We also are having pretty good success with the One Piece card game. I don't know if you ever watched the One Piece series on Netflix, Rob. I know you're not an anime guy, but it got a lot of heat. So I don't know if you checked it out at all. No?
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Fine.
Hey, what else you got in the store? What's going on?
Oh, yeah. So usual new comic book day is every Wednesday. So if you guys are looking to get some comics, check us out Wednesdays. I don't know if you guys saw the article that Amon wrote for she's editor of some comic. I'm going to post a link for it. I forget what it is. But she wrote a beautiful article about her coming in and Andre recommending her comics. So if you're looking to read some good books and you're not sure where to start, definitely drop by Wednesday. Me or Andre will hook you up with some fun reads. And then we do have another photography workshop coming up on November 11th with Jeff. If you guys follow us on Instagram, Andre actually went live with Jeff talking a little bit about behind the scenes on how he's achieving these great photos. A little kind of taste of what goes on in these classes for perspective, use events going on. If you don't follow us on Instagram and Facebook, you'll see them posted there.
You're glitching.
Internet issues look like.
Yeah, you're glitching a little bit. Okay. So you had the workshop on the weekend. You got another one coming up on November the 11th, and it's been pretty popular. And Andre did a really cool thing with Instagram Live to be able to do the forced perspective and hey, listen, that weekend the Marvels opens in theaters. So you've kind of tied it all around, John, by talking about Amon Villani. And did you get your tickets?
Not yet. I'm still worried that they're gonna postpone it or something like that. What do you think? It's landing for sure, right, Rob? No. They haven't said anything, so there's no way this is not happening. Strike is still on, which super sucks for a lot of these people working this, but they're striking for a reason. But yeah, it's a shame. Some of these new actors, actresses, Iman included, Zolo from Blue Beetle, all that kind of stuff. They don't get to kind of do this red carpet talk show circuit to promote this product. So it's kind of a shame, but they're standing up for something, so hopefully it works out in the end for them.
Yeah, I got tickets for the opening weekend. So, John, you know how I like to go on the Friday nights.
Yeah.
But now my kids are playing soccer in the evenings, and I think that night Noah has a game at 10 o'clock at night.
What the hell?
Yeah. So my daughter's either at 8 or at 9, and he's at 10. And it's, it's an hour. So
why would they put it so late? Is it because there's so many games going on before that's the only time slot, or is it the venue that's like all booked up?
No, I think there's just games. It's just the league. He's in the older age group now, right? So the older
so they got to fit in all these games, and it just happens these older guys, they're going to get pushed a little later because they can't have
the 14-year-olds. Yeah, the 14-year-olds, 14, 15s are playing 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night, John. Which, like, we've talked about this before. We would get ready and go out and party starting at 10 o'clock at night. We would start getting ready and we'd leave the house, right? And we'd be like, doing you had like your Gino beats going on as leaving the house, your dippity doo in your hair and stuff like that. And you're like, all right, let's go. Some Stevie P beats going on and stuff like that.
They don't sell dippity doo no more, do they?
Yeah, at 10
they don't sell dippity doo, do they anymore? That sounds funny. Yeah,
that's great.
Anyways.
Now, John, years later, I struggle on a Friday night to stay awake till 10. So it'll be a challenge, man. I might have to have a nap after work. I'm not sure. But I got my tickets for the Saturday. I'm good to go on the 11th. Awesome. I'm excited to go. Yeah, I'm excited to go. If I'm awake past 9:30, it's a miracle right now. I know, but look at it this way. To us, it would be 11:30, Sarah. So you're doing better than us.
She's never adjusted to the time zone when she moved. You're just stuck. You've been there for like almost. I feel like it's almost a year now, but yeah, you're just stuck with this. This is the time zone. I don't know. I feel like Sarah gets a lot done during the day because when I see her photos, I already look tired. She's like, I hiked here to here, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna go take a nap. It's a lot of walking involved. When I think about it, it's a lot of walking in my head, and it takes my body there, and I get tired. It just happens.
So I want to go back up. That something that Steve had said. Oh, so I haven't seen this yet. Steve, John, stop touching things.
What? There's too many buttons on here.
Steve says I saw Equalizer 3, possibly one of Denzel's least active roles, though he is pretty up there in age. Okay, so I haven't seen this yet. I wanted to see it in the theater. I never got around to seeing it. It's on iTunes, but I'm not willing to pay $30 to own it at this point, right? But this is my concern, right? Is that I really enjoyed the first Equalizer. I was okay with Equalizer 2, but yes, Denzel is, so how active and how much action are we really seeing in these movies? I don't know. I mean, is this like a Expendables 4? I don't know, man. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like he has, even when you watch the Equalizer 1, there was a lot of kind of stunt doubles taking over, which is fine. You don't put your main actor, even Unstoppable that we watched a little while back. I think he did a bunch of the stuff in there, but you can tell there was a bunch of parts where stunt doubles stepped in. So I guess he's no Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise is a crazy abnormality in this type of world where he's able to keep up. There are a lot of actors stepping up and actresses doing that. But yeah, I guess you can't expect it from everybody. But shout out to Denzel for still doing action movies. Crazy.
Sarah wants to know if you and I have our Halloween costumes.
No, not at all. I don't know. I don't really do the Halloween anymore. I always tell myself I'm going to do something, cut some things out of foam and have some fun. But Rob, what about you? Have you ever taken this project on?
Well, I like to buy my stuff. I don't have a creative bone.
Well, if I just had money and I did a store-bought costume, sure, I could do that. But where's the effort in that?
I gotta go find it, and I gotta pay for it. I gotta drive. I gotta leave my house.
You can check the sizing. You might buy a large and it doesn't fit you. You gotta go get an XL. You gotta get a medium.
So I haven't. This is really weird because so my son is 14 and a half. I guess he's older than that. He'll be 15 in January. So he's at that point. He's in grade 9. So he's kind of like, I don't think I'm gonna go trick-or-treating anymore, which it's okay. And my daughter is like, well, she needs to have 3 costumes. John, understand. She needs a costume for her dance, dance company. She needs one for school, and then she needs one for Halloween night. But I'm like, just be the same thing, all three. They're all different people. Who the hell gives a shit? But yeah, I don't know. But we haven't gotten anything. So I mean, like you saying today is the 15th, right, of the month. I mean, we literally have 16 days left. Well, not anymore. Really, it's called 15 days in a couple hours. Like, time is crunching. A lot of the costumes are flying off the store shelves, right? And now I'm at that stage, John. It's very weird where it's like I used to go trick or treating with the kids, take them out and do all the stuff, and now they're either out with their own friends or now they're going to that stage of I'm not trick or treating anymore, and I'm just like, what? Like, it's weird for me. I'm that stage of life with my kids where things are now different, and you're gonna get there in a few years too. You'll be like, when did this happen? So it's bizarre. I don't know.
Yeah, Sarah says they're just gonna get creepy masks and scare kids that show up at their place. That's always fun. I feel like kids dig that.
Or Gord could just shave.
Whoa, that'd be crazy.
Just leave the mustache and be like, trick or treat. I'm like, no.
No, I don't think so. Do not shave the beard. I'm mad jealous of all the beards. But anyways, all right. So Halloween costumes, they're going on the back burner right now. We'll see what Rob comes up with. I don't think I'm going to do anything.
But your kids, are they all jazzed for Halloween?
Yeah. They're still in the stage. They're still on the younger end, and they're still going to dress up. We're going to have to figure out where the hell to take them for trick or treating. Our neighborhood's kind of like not as many kids in it anymore. So sometimes we kind of go to a friend's neighborhood or whatever. But I always feel bad going. It's like, this is not my hood. I'm going to go take their candy. What about the candy for the kids in this hood? But I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, let's talk about Halloween movies. Have you watched anything since we last spoke?
I have watched absolutely nothing, Mr. Rob.
You're just doing so well.
I proposed on Twitter is Terminator 1, and I think we've talked about this many times. Terminator 1, is that not a horror Halloween movie?
No, it's not.
I feel like it's a horror movie. That skeleton, the endoskeleton is chasing Sarah Connor through, like crawling at her through the whatever the hell that thing is, a press or something like that, whatever. And she has to hit the button and it's like, you're terminated, and then the red eyes like fade out. I feel like that's like a scary movie. No, come on.
No, it might be a scary moment, but it's not a horror movie. Would you call Aliens a horror movie?
Yeah, I would.
No, it's not.
All right, Rob, how many times have you watched the Batman since Halloween started, or since October rolled around?
None. I haven't. So I watched the 2022 remake of Hellraiser.
Yeah, I heard that's terrible.
It has its place, just it's not. I'm not invited to it. It's not.
You're not on that list.
I grew up watching the Hellraiser, at least the trilogy, and then after that it got really ridiculous. But the trilogy, Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3, I loved those movies. I read the Books of Blood by Clive Barker, those short stories. Some of them are just absolutely terrifying and just mental to read. I remember going down to the world's biggest bookstore. That was the only place in Toronto that sold the Books of Blood. And they only had like a couple copies, right? And I loved it. Listen, I'm sure people really enjoyed this new version of Hellraiser. It just wasn't for me. So that was a hard pass. I also watched The Pope's Exorcist with Gladiator himself, Russell Crowe. Okay, that's on Crave. You know what? It's not bad. It's like a fun Halloween movie. Like, it's gory. You know, it's kind of supposed to be like an Exorcist type movie. Obviously given by the name, but it's a cool watch if you haven't seen it yet. I think it's 93 minutes, so like you're really not wasting a lot of your time to go ahead
except for 93 minutes.
87 if you don't watch the credits.
You fast forward. I think Netflix, you can turn on the 1.5 speed or whatever. What if you watched it in like 1.5 speed?
I don't see people. You can listen to your podcast that way. I don't know. I would never do that.
No, I do it all the time. I listen to like podcasts. 1.2 speed is usually the sweet spot where people don't sound like super chipmunks. But I don't know what the math is in how much time you save. But you save a little bit of time, and sometimes people, make pauses and stuff like us. We'll carry on faster, get to the point faster. But yeah, All right, sure. Anything else on the docket?
Yeah, so I've got well we'll talk about for next week's movie for the end of Halloween. No, is it next week? Is next week the last? Yeah, I guess it is, right? Next week's
Is
the
it
last.
already? Get out.
Well, what's next week? Next week. Oh,
We
the
have the 22nd
22nd.
and
No,
the
no,
29th.
no. Oh, this is one of those
This
5 week
this is
ones.
the funny occasion where there's 5 Sundays in the
course.
month where you said we're gonna figure it out as we go.
Yeah, so the 29th. Okay, that's fine. So the 29th will be our movie of the month or for Halloween. We've chosen The Lost Boys because it's we've always talked about it. People have always recommended us rewatching it, so that's what we're going to be doing. So we would totally welcome you to join us and watching that, but we'll be reviewing that on the 29th of September. So couple more weeks. John, are you going to make an effort to watch this or what?
Yeah. Why would I not watch this? Get out of town. Jack Bauer is a vampire?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it. If you guys in the comments,
okay.
I think I've seen scenes from it. I don't think I've actually sat down and watched the whole thing.
Okay. So yeah, I did pick up The Exorcist on 4K. So I am very jazzed to fire that up.
What is the age of this movie that they did a
50
4K
years.
version? Then how is it possible that there's a 4K version?
Because they scan the original and they remastered it. So it actually looks like I've seen stuff online how gorgeous it looks. So yeah.
All right.
I'm pretty jazzed to see Exorcist, because I do want to go see the newer one, Exorcist, whatever it's called, the one that's in theaters right now. So, but you're not a horror guy, right?
No, we've already gone through this.
Yeah.
I'm not a horror guy. I do remember discovering Friday the 13th and what's the other one? Nightmare on Elm Street when I was young, and with my buddies we rent a bunch of the, whatever they're up to, like double digits of movies or whatever. You rent them, and they were more comedic than scary. I don't think we were
fun horror movies, right?
Yeah, I don't think we were ever scared of it. What does kind of scare me is those Saw movies and stuff like that, because it feels a little too real.
Yeah, I love Saw 1. I loved that movie. I saw that in theaters. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sarah says the new Saw movie is quite good. What about the new Army of Darkness movie? Did you ever get around to watching that one? The one with the girl?
What? I don't know that one. What
was it? Or Evil Dead or whatever it's called.
It was a remake of Evil Dead, right? Yeah. No, just like there's a remake. It was from 2000 and my brain says 9, but it wasn't. I think it was like 2000. It might have been 2019 or 2018. They did a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street with Jackie Earl Haley as Freddy Krueger, and it's on Netflix. I heard nothing but bad things, but I am going to watch it.
What about The Crow? Is The Crow on anyone's viewing schedule for this October?
It is. It's coming up. I've told my son he's got to watch 2 movies with me this month: Lost Boys and The Crow. So I'd like to watch The Crow on the 30th, John, because that is Devil's Night. And so I figured that is appropriate to watch it that night.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see. You guys always please report back to us on what horror movies you guys are watching. We've seen a couple recommendations in the chat. Fraser says he doesn't consider Lost Boys a horror film. We're gonna find out. I don't remember enough about it.
It does have vampires. I mean, that's a fairly
that's a dedicated Halloween genre vampires.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to talk about some news stuff, John?
Yeah. Let's get on to the news. Yeah, since we don't really have anything crazy planned out for tonight. Yeah, let's get into the news.
Well, I can see you've got. We might as well start off with the sad stuff, I guess, because I see you've got a photo at the bottom there.
Yeah.
So why don't you?
Sad news. If you guys don't know, Suzanne Summers passed away. Was it today or?
Yeah, today. 76, I think.
Yeah. Suzanne Summers, rest in peace. Condolences to family, friends, and fans. Rob, what project do you remember? Suzanne Summers? Is it Thigh Master? Is it Three's Company?
Three's Company.
That's your jam?
Okay. Yeah, Chrissy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, but obviously the Thigh Master. I mean, you can't. yeah, right. But Three's Company.
Do they still sell that thing? I feel like they don't sell that thing. It seems that it would still work. It's a resistance band training type thing. If you guys are not familiar with, it was like a red thing, and you squeezed your thighs.
Yeah, it was a bar, right? It was a bar with these 2 like foam. Yeah, and it was like a clip, like a paper clip type thing. Again, one of those clips. Resistance. As you said,
I'm surprised I don't see it. You know how you see stuff like the perfect push-ups or the ab roller and all that stuff just lying around people's houses sometimes. I usually don't see a Thigh Master kicking around in that collection. So maybe it was like it's aged out. Maybe they all crumbled and disintegrated. But Rob, since I guess I'm a bit younger than you, I remember her mostly from a little family sitcom called Step by Step. I don't know if you remember Step by Step.
God.
Yeah, Step by Step, Day by Day. I don't know. It's not based on the New Kids on the Block song, but a fun kind of family show where I think it was her and Patrick Duffy.
Okay.
Get married and they have their kids, and I guess the idea was like she's stepmother and he's stepfather to these like a huge family. And then they had one of my favorite characters of all time, Cody, who was like the kind of like dim-witted nephew living in a van on their driveway. I don't know if you remember any of this at all.
By the river?
No, he lived on their driveway in a van, and he was like he was a martial artist. He was in Kickboxer 2 and stuff like that, or something like that.
Okay. Was this like one of these like it was like a syndicated show that it wasn't on like a proper? Okay.
Right. It was like it was part of like those TGIF Fridays or whatever, things like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, but anyways,
so she would have been 77 tomorrow, John.
Yeah, I feel like that's still that she's pretty young, been around a little longer, but I think she was I think it was cancer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think she
had battling for some time. I don't know the details.
Yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace, Suzanne Summers. Legends.
Yeah. And she was hot. Okay. Let's talk New York. Do you want to do comics? Yeah, New York Comic Con was this past weekend. And John, the comic book industry seems to be going through a crazy shakeup right now. A number of months ago, there was word, I think it was around San Diego Comic-Con, now that I think about it, John, that there was a new comic imprint called Distillery that was launched. With like Scott Snyder, Mark Bernardin, I think Jock was part of it. There's a whole bunch of artists and writers. And now we got word on today's Sunday. I guess it was Thursday, right? Because New York Comic Con kicked off on Thursday. That is now another new imprint or a publishing company called Ghost Machine. Is that right? Ghost Machine?
I don't remember the exact name. I know it's got a whole bunch of like kind of heavy hitters right now. Francis Manapul and like I forgot, like a whole bunch of like kind of like hot creators right now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's called Ghost Machine. Okay, so it I hate when they tell you, hey, you've already read this article, you have to now subscribe.
They locked you out.
Yeah, it did. Okay, but I know that we've got Jason Fabok is in there, like you said, Francis Manapul, Jeff Johns, Brad Meltzer, Gary Frank is part of it, and there's a couple of others, and I'm sorry that I don't have all the exact names off the top of my head, but that's a pretty big did I say Brad Meltzer, right? So it's a pretty big like you said, hitters list of individuals who started their own imprint that it will be underneath the Image Comics, I guess, umbrella, but Ghost Machine, and they've got a number of projects coming out into January. So we're seeing a lot of these modern day, big titans of comics, John, that have now kind of moved over. We talked about this a couple years ago. Some of them were going over to Substack, and James Tinian. No, is that James Tinian? Yeah. Anyways, he went over to Boom. He did stuff like with House of Slaughter and sometimes King with Children, and then like you said, Scott Snyder. I think he's got like 3 different publishing. He's no longer working for DC or Marvel. He's got like his own stuff. He's got Distillery and Best Jacket Press, I think, so he's got a lot of things on the go. And then, again, we've had nothing from Jason Fabok since the 3 Jokers that came out 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
2 or 3 years ago.
I feel it's longer than that. I feel like it was like 3 years ago or something.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, so. He's been working on this project. We've got a bunch of things that are coming out into January. And so, it's just Peter Tomasi. That was the one I was trying to think of. Peter J. Tomasi is joining up with Francis Manapul for a book coming out in January. That looks to be pretty interesting. So there's a lot of things happening here in the comics world. So John, are we looking at, we know about the original Image guys, who departed Marvel, started up Image, and really kind of shook the foundations of the big two at the time. And now you've got really, they're kind of, the Image is almost like the big three, right? And now you've got Dynamite and Boom Studios, which are obviously not part of Image. So you got some smaller, I don't want to say independent publishers, but smaller scale publishers. But do these guys now, the Distillery and now Ghost Machine, do they have the star power to kind of propel them up to be really competitive? How do you see the comic landscape?
I think it's hard because the comic book realm is basically the big dogs, Marvel and DC, right? So if you're not on, like, all these guys have made their names on books starring, Flash, Superman, Batman, all that kind of stuff. So now they're stepping away. Image, and if this is under the Image umbrella, Image is known for releasing a lot of content that is now being picked up for TV shows and stuff like that, and movies, things like that. So I don't know if that's their goal. If they're like, hey, we're going to make these books or properties that are ultimately going to become another property, because that, I feel like that is the game right now. If you're not doing a Superman, Batman, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like, for us, we're a mainstream store. So our bread and butter is going to be, Batman, Superman's, capes and cows type stuff. But there is a market for the non-capes and cows market or audience that wants to read something a little different. And we're getting a lot of really crazy stuff going on, especially with Image and all these small press books. So we'll see it. Like, without like, their names have been built up. So it seems like it's lined up. I know there has been some criticisms on, like, exactly. I think it's like an all boys club as far as you can see from the picture. Predominantly all older white guys. So we'll see like what that factors into, if diversity means anything, you know what I mean?
So let me ask you something. As a retailer, though, like, I see that Marvel's bringing back the Ultimates.
Yep.
They have just this weekend, because again, it was Comic-Con, they've teased the end of the Krakoan version of X-Men. So that's ending. Right. So that will be rebooted. I think they're bringing back Invincible Spider-Man. On the DC side, they're bringing the Elseworlds imprint back. They got this brand new day, or whatever, this new rebooted universe they've got going on. Not brand new day, but this Dawn of
DC. Yeah.
So, like, I understand that every few years, it seems to be in the last quarter century, every 5 or 6 years, the big two reboot their universes, refresh it, lipstick on a pig type thing. But then they make this big, we're getting rid of Elseworlds, we're folding everything in, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're bringing it back. Like, do you start to lose? If you are the publisher of DC or Marvel, do you think you're starting to lose some of the goodwill for those long-term readers who have to now keep everything that they've read means nothing? Or it's like, you said you're doing away with this, and it meant not, and now you're bringing it back for what? What are you guys doing? Like, do you think it starts to wane on long-time readers, or is it the idea is just trying to bring in new readers?
I think they're trying what they can, but I think it does, like you said, it kind of like gets existing readers tired. But I guess the ultimate goal is to get those new people. So the old people, it's kind of like, yeah, you know what, this is what you're getting. This is a new number one again. It's the same creative team, it's the same direction of story, but now it's labeled as a number one. That seems to be the tactic generally with a lot of these companies. I question the bringing back of the Ultimate Universe. I don't think anyone was demanding this. The Ultimate Universe, when it originally dropped, was huge, and a lot of the stuff you see now in the movies and TV shows and stuff like that was farmed from, I guess, that era, like a lot of the Hulk stuff and Avengers stuff and things like that. So it just seems to be the nature of the business. Everything has to kind of start at number one. Like, there's a lot of TV shows we've watched that have gone to like 13, 14 seasons or whatever, probably could have used some type of reboot in the middle, and maybe it could have lasted another 8, 10 seasons. But yeah, I don't know. I always question it. It's always really confusing, especially explaining the back part. Like, oh, this is volume whatever of Spider-Man, or this is Spider-Man from this year that turned into this number one that turned into this. It's always mad confusing to explain to people.
Yeah, I know. It always bugged me that, it's like, okay, you're collecting stuff in trades, like volume one. I'm like, but I already have like 3 different volume 1s. But it's like, oh, but it's volume 1 of Rebirth, and then you have the volume 1 of New 52. Like I almost kind of think you keep the legacy numbering on those trades, right? Like
I think they're gonna have to do. It's too confusing. If you ask me to find your like the what would you call it, through line of Miles Morales Spider-Man from the Ultimate line all the way up to current, there's a lot of confusing stuff that happens in there. I would have to consult some type of Wikipedia or kind of reading order entry to figure it out for you. So we'll see. They got to do something to catch new fans. They got to keep the comics evolving. I am looking like the new DC Dawn of DC stuff has been doing really well. Some of the new Marvel stuff has been doing really well. We'll see how Ultimate Universe comes back, and then we'll see how these new publishers do under the Image House. There is the good thing about comics is now there's so many genres that it's touching now, especially with these kind of creator-owned properties and more options to take your book to press. It's almost like, a Japanese manga. It seems to touch on everything. That's why we're getting these kind of crazy shows that are hitting all kinds of different themes and ideas. So American comics looks like it's kind of, or North American comics looks like it's going that way. But I think we're boring people with the comic stuff.
Well, no, it's interesting because like when the X-Men rebooted, what's his face? Who rebooted
Hickman?
the X? Huh?
Hickman?
Yeah, when Hickman rebooted that went like gangbusters, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, now they are.
Now they're wrapping it up with the whole fall of X.
And now they're doing the fall of the House of X and then destruction of Powers of 10 or whatever, right? And that's the end. I would be very interested to find out and to see how the new X-Men universe kind of reboots, because I thought it was a pretty interesting concept, and for me, it just kind of went off the rails. So quickly, then, the people who are coming into the store, are they accepting of these universe reboots or no?
Yeah, well, it could just be a thing because we've moved to this new location and we're getting a lot of new people and stuff like that. But people are jumping on. People are getting this fall of X. People are jumping on to Dawn of DC. They did a couple kind of like substitutions in for their DC titles during the summer holidays. They did like a whole horror themed element. But people seem to be jumping in. And then we just had the drop of the new Transformers, completely restarting their whole universe, building it from the ground up. And they're going to add G.I. Joe to the mix, which has actually got me really excited. So I guess, you know what? I guess it works, right?
So the reason why I'm asking, John, is that it seems to be that I'm gathering people are more open to a universe rebooting in comics than they are in movies. Because, wow, news broke out this week about that, after Aquaman 2, the DCEU is, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but once again, James Gunn's confirmed it. It's done. Like the report out of Variety said, none of the, I guess for a lack of a better term, John, the Snyderverse actors will be reprising their roles, right?
No, the same roles.
The what? The same roles.
They won't be reprising the same roles there.
Right. I mean, no surprise. They've already cast a brand new Superman for the Legacy movie. But everything's gone. And I know that there's always going to be that asterisk. Well, hang on, you've got Peacemaker and Amanda Waller. Okay. But we're talking about like the main characters, right? They're last year we talked about the fact that Gal Gadot was like, oh, we're still developing Wonder Woman 3. I'm sure they are, just not with her. So
no, maybe they are. Maybe it's on the back burner. But yeah, so you're asking basically, is it time for the cinematic universes to follow another element from the comic universe, which is
I'm kind of excited.
Start something fresh.
I'm excited to see what James Gunn does with the Superman Legacy. Obviously, the rumor is that Aquaman, Jason Momoa, will be shifting to Lobo. We've talked about that for the past 3 years. We've been doing this, John. I know that you are excited about seeing that. But are you kind of happy to literally be done? There's no more Ezra Miller as Flash. There's no more Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Are you happy with that?
Like I think you've stated it in a previous podcast that we're ready to see new blood come in and new directions. We've had our fill of these things. Like as much as everyone demands or wants to see Henry Cavill come back, I think it is time for a change. Something fresh. Like Blue Beetle was like kind of a refreshing new direction for these type of movies. Do they do the same thing with Marvel, I guess is the question. Do you continue what they're doing now, which is almost like throwing darts at a dartboard and just I would say arguably missing so many of their hits as of late? Do you let them just start again from one? Do you want to watch it build back up again, folks? Do you want a new Spider-Man, new Avengers, Captain America, everybody built from the ground up? I don't know. I think.
Well, I'm glad you bring up Marvel, John, because
Yeah.
this week we found out that Daredevil Born Again, which was filming for Disney Plus, it was a 19 episode order. I think from what I've read, they had filmed 6 or 7 episodes. Kevin Feige went in and said, "We're done. He fired the showrunner, the writers. He fired the rest of the directors who were lined up, and said, "We're restarting this whole entire thing. It's not working out the way that we wanted it to." I guess they saw enough of the footage to say this is just not where we want to go with this direction. Now they may repurpose some of the footage that they've shot to add into new stories that will now have to be written and shot and everything else like that. I'm sure this is not a cheap, fix that they've or a cheap cut that they've had to make. And they're probably losing millions of dollars by doing this. But does this get you worried? Because we've talked about the MCU and these movies, and like the quality has been a little bit shaky, and we know we've got the Marvels coming out, and we know Amon is a huge fan of the store, but I think she's fabulous. However, we also can't, the tracking for the movie coming out is a little bit lower than expected at this point, somewhat concerning, I would say, to some people. So I'm still going to see it. I got my tickets, like I said, but is this indicative that the ship it needs a course correction, or that now things are completely off the rails like Lewis thought this show was 45 minutes ago?
Oh, good callback to Lewis's comment. I'll pop it up on the screen, but there's too much stuff. I can't find it. Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, like the response to like all the latest movies, TV shows, and stuff like that. I don't know how or if you're enjoying Loki season 2.
I haven't seen episode 2 yet.
Yeah. I wonder why you're putting it off. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I guess it's great with the familiarity to see some of these characters pop back up. But I don't know. I feel like I'm the wrong market. I feel like I lost my super fandom of the movies when they wrapped up with Infinity War Endgame.
Yep.
But you know what? I do want to see Shang-Chi come pop up, Simu Liu, and I do want to see Amon as Miss Marvel. I do think Brie Larson could get a go at a proper Captain Marvel portrayal. I feel like that first movie was pretty rushed and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think you can scrap and start from the beginning. I think it's too radical for people. I don't think we're at that stage yet.
I agree, but that's what they're doing with Daredevil, right? They're having to retooling the whole
thing.
Yeah,
this is a TV show. Like I feel like this used to happen back in the day. TV shows would get shot. Maybe it'd only get to the pilot stage. Maybe it'd get a couple episodes in and they'd go, hey, you know what? This is not working. So it could be a good sign that they're willing to scrap it and not just put it out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the report that indicated, the absolute chaos and turmoil that ended up with Secret Invasion, right? And it's the lowest rated Marvel property, and that a lot of people just gave up. They didn't even finish watching it, right? Like it shit the bed. So we've talked about this. We've, when we had Stu on the main podcast, we can go back and check the receipts. I was always concerned that they were diluting the product by having way too much, right? Once they got into TV, I was like, you're diluting it all. And I feel like it's just like it's like a fisherman's net is thrown out there with all this type of stuff. And you're just like, well, we're going to catch something. And it's like, but the stuff that we're catching is like old boots and tin cans. And we're not getting.
Well, I would argue that the quality is not there. So you can dilute your product if the quality is there. But the quality is not. Like a lot of things feel phoned in. A lot of things feel rushed. So hopefully they're learning their lesson from that and they're going, okay, hold on. We kind of like pieced together these Daredevil episodes. I don't think it's quite up to snuff. That's what you hope. Instead of them just going, hey, this is a good project, but we're going to go in a different direction. Let's scrap all 6 of these episodes.
Yeah.
I feel like nobody does that, right? I know a lot of people complained about that Batgirl movie being scrapped, but
yeah,
we saw The Flash, we saw Black Adam, We're about to
Shazam
see
2.
Aquaman, yeah, Shazam 2, and man,
Yeah.
especially Flash, did that not live up to the hype that they were trying to
I would
spin on it,
like,
right?
yeah.
Right? It didn't live up to that. So imagine if that Batgirl came out and it's worse than those projects, then yeah, you've already burned your bridges.
I have a question for you then, as a retailer, just talking about the Flash stuff. I mean, Hot Toys had released a whole bunch of like images and stuff like that of the Flash figures that were coming out that like in 2024.
Yeah.
Do you think they're still going to go through with their run, or do you think that they'll revisit and say there's like zero demand or not enough to warrant us producing?
If you're talking about merch, right?
Yeah, the
Like
Hot Toys, because Hot Toys is
Hot
a
Toys. No,
year, is over a year after a movie comes
no,
out.
they're already committed, so it doesn't matter to them. I
Why?
don't think I've never seen them kind of scrap a figure that was announced. So I think
Really, eh?
they're committed. There's action figures and stuff already committed. So yeah, that's just
Yeah,
it
but
is what it is.
it's a high-end collectible, right?
Yeah.
So
You
to
would
make
think, yeah, you would think you would cut ties, but there's some people like, even after the bomb of the Justice League original cut, the Whedon cut, they still had
Yeah.
Cyborg and a bunch of other Hot Toys figures to come out, and they still made them.
Do you think it's a
despite-
contractual obligation that they have to, because they have the license from DC, they have to make these? Or like, so I don't know what the inning, but I'm thinking to myself, okay, if Hot Toys are legally obligated to be able to produce some of these figures that they've already announced, and the movie's shit, when I'm talking the Flash, right? It
Yeah.
does not make any money. It's a massive bomb. It's a laughing stock for a lot of people. And you're like, great, we've got this. Do they then lower their run, saying, "Oh, they're limited edition, 2,500 pieces"? Like,
that would make sense, but me as a retailer, when I see these products drop, they still drop with the same force, depending on how. Doesn't matter how bad this movie bombed or whatever, because it's already. I feel like it's already too late. They're too late in the process. They've got too much money invested that nobody's willing to cut bait or cut the string. Like some would say, you're 6 episodes deep into Daredevil, finish it. We've already invested all this money, but back in the day, the good old days, a lot of that stuff would happen. You'd see toy lines brought to full prototype, finished product, and then get scrapped at that point. So maybe there was a more of a level of quality or commitment, or they knew when to cut bait. But I feel like nowadays it's like they just keep going. We're just going to still release this piece of trash, and cross our fingers in hopes that it breaks even or turns into something.
And they're still gonna their MSRP is still gonna be high, equivalent to what it was if it was a high end movie with a lot of But maybe this is the problem that Hot Toys. Maybe it's when there's such a huge window before their product gets released. Maybe
they got to close that gap. For us retailers, it sucks. Like how long was the Batman delayed, Rob? And how long has it been out? And we don't have the Hot Toys for that movie right now.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. They're doing the Batman, they're doing the bike, they're doing the Bat Signal, all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's still not even out. So let's let it is what it is. Steve does mention here he would like to see popular heroes recast as they age. So like I guess turnover faster is what he's kind of saying here. Like these guys when they get a little bit older and they're no longer able to do the stunts or just add a fresh face in there. Like how long was Tony Stark as Iron Man? Was that a good decade?
Yeah, but you know what though? But 2008 until 2018, it was 10 years, John. But look at like the amount, or 19. Look at the amount of projects that they did. Like they were churning out with these core group of peoples. They built out this universe, and that was it. Now they just have like all these new characters coming out with these one movies, but there's been no follow-ups. You don't see them in other projects. Yeah. So that's why I think it feels rudderless. Anyways, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
John, I guess that's probably it for the night, unless you got anything else you wanted to talk about.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there was any breaking. It seems like I was thinking more stuff was going to come out of this New York Comic Con, but I feel like it's been pretty tame.
There's an Invincibles 2 trailer dropped. I have not seen it yet, but I do know that did drop and has gotten a little bit of buzz. But yeah, the problem is they really can't be promoting, like there's no real movies and shows that were able to be promoted because nobody was there to talk about it, right? So it was a lot of just comic stuff, which is great if you're a comic fan. But if you're looking for more, stuff in the movies and TV genre, you aren't going to get a lot this weekend because of SAG-AFTRA still on strike. So
so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, news has been tight. Maybe it is. Yeah, because of this strike, and they can't announce new things and new projects because they can announce casting all they want, but who knows when that project's going to happen. So whatever, we're gonna have to look. We're gonna have to look to other things to entertain us, like like coming to play Warhammer or whatever.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, where's your Warhammer?
Yeah. Henry Cavill, come on down to the store, play some Warhammer with us. Take your mind off the strike. Take your mind off of not being Superman anymore.
There you go. But we're gonna make you sign a bunch of merch where you do look like Superman on it.
Yeah. We'll figure it out, man. Hit me up. We'll figure it out for you, buddy.
There you go.
But yeah, thank you, Mr. Rob. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We'll be back next week. So Lost Boys is not next week, right, Rob? It's the week 29th. After that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go 29th. Lost Boys. Next week we're just talk about whatever, unless you guys got something you guys want to specifically talk about, then hit us up.
Yep, let us know. And maybe we'll do an AMA, Johnson. It's a bizarre 5 week. People, they can ask us questions.
It's a weirdo 5 week. Yeah, we'll try and throw out some lists. People like to have lists, so maybe we'll try and ask for someone's top 5 lists of whatever.
All right.
But yeah, or scary moments in movies. I don't know. It's Never Ending Story, a horror movie. I feel like that movie scarred me for life. So I feel like it should be in the horror.
No, there's one scene is scarring, but I wouldn't consider it a horror movie. No.
I don't know.
Nice try.
I think these movies that scares you for life are definitely should be on there. Is RoboCop 1 a scary horror movie? Like that guy gets disintegrated.
I tell you what, how about video of you doing karaoke in 1997? That is a horror show.
What's 97? What were the hits in 97? Was it Backstreet Boys era?
I'm sure. NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. There you go, buddy.
Yeah. All right. Anyways,
all right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Rob. Thanks, we will see you guys next week on our new time, which is Sundays at 8 a.m. That'd be funny. 8 p.m. And we'll hopefully have some fun stuff for you. If nothing happens in the news, we'll come up. We'll make up some news.
There we go.
We'll make up some fake news for you.
John has 9 toes.
You'd be falling over all the time. It's like what's his name in Peacemaker? The vigilante. You just fall over, you lose all your balance. But anyways, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, Lewis is saying no to the fake news. Fine, Lewis, we won't do any fake news next week. Anyways, peace out, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Check you later.
You can hit the button.
I'm gonna hit the button.